Orange team.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
I'm
This
Andrew.
isn't my seat. that legitimately threw me off.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
That's all right, guys. We're all thrown off because we just made deals with the devil. Today on the Board Game Rundown, we are going to review the newest game from Czech Games Edition and Deal with the Devil.
Deal with the Dan.
You need exactly 4 players to play this game.
Exactly.
It says an
So
hour and 20
ballsy.
minutes. I would say that if you're playing with Bob or Spencer, that game will take a lot longer. But it is fiddly to learn. The rule book is
It
laid
is.
out fine, but there's kind of a lot going on.
It's a check game.
And a lot
a
of
check game.
very crunchy decisions to be made. So in this game, you are playing as one of 4 kingdoms. 2 of them are ruled by mortals. One is ruled by a cultist that has already given a piece of his soul to the devil. And the other kingdom is, spoiler alert, run by the devil. So this is represented by souls that you will have behind your player board. You are given these chests. And these
Chests are super cool.
yeah, they have multiple functions. Anyway, so during the game, you're going to run through different phases. You're going to produce goods. That is determined by the action wheel and the goods that are facing you on your turn during the actions, during the production phase. You are then going to get cards, which there'll be an event card, and then there's going to be building cards. Building cards are buildings that you can build. They might give you extra actions that you can choose to take. They might have like passive effects,
Yeah.
you know, things that give you resources, may be a one-time use thing.
They also have a set collection.
The buildings also
at the
serve
top.
a set collection aspect for helping you achieve achievements, score achievements. Then this is like the longest part
crux,
of the game. And really, it will make or break. Well, I don't want to say it'll make or break the game for you because there's other parts of this game that might break it for you. But one of the things that makes this game really interesting is the deals phase. And in that phase, basically everybody's got these cards that you can put out in front. You know, it's like I want marble. Somebody please.
I need stone.
Somebody please put marble in a chest. Then, so this is an app-driven game. Someone is going to put these goods in that chest, and there's a little thing in there you can move around, so it'll tell you what you are asking for in return. So,
So what Bob is doing right now is he is setting the price for what he wants for those
7
resources.
coins.
7
So
coins.
7 coins for those resources.
But the glass is premium resources, and then the other 2 are basic resources, so
Yeah.
they're less valuable. Then the devil can only ask for pieces of soul. The cultist can ask for a soul as well.
Yes.
Yes.
They can.
Or gold.
Or gold.
Or you can just leak your identity immediately and screw up the game.
Well, it wasn't immediately. It was more
Yeah.
like turn 3.
Yeah.
But anyways, so there's an app for this that's very easy to use. There's a QR code on the bottom of each chest. You're going to scan that, and the app is going to tell you what player to give it to. The chests are going to basically go around twice. So you may not accept the first deal. I don't want this. You just put the chest back in the stack. They
Let
shuffle
another
them.
person
They
get the
scan it.
deal.
Somebody else might get an opportunity. But you may get a chest where the deal's already been taken then on the second round, right? And so there's nothing for you to do there either. Then you shuffle them all up. Then you scan them on the app. The app tells you what chest gets back to what player. We never had that go wrong.
Nope.
That always worked perfectly.
Outside of user error.
Outside of, well, yeah.
Well,
Right,
we
he's
didn't-
saying he never had the app go wrong.
The app never went wrong.
The app
Yeah.
worked.
And it does have a nice back feature, so if you do think you messed something up, you can always go back.
And we did do that, and it recreated the round perfectly.
Yeah.
It's very, that's very clever.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did
it
a
was
good job with
super
the app.
smart. Then there's the action phase. So now on the top of your castle here, you're going to basically plan out your actions. It can be activate one of your buildings. It can be building a building. There could be to buy a courtier, which is a guy with basically has a symbol, which is going to help you complete the set collection aspect. You're also going to have an event. You're either going to choose if you choose to do the event, you don't have to. You're either going to do the side that helps you more, but is going to get you negative reputation, or you're going to help the church, which is going to get you positive reputation, but usually you're paying resources or some kind of good or something, right? Whether it's money or goods. Yeah. Anyways, you're going to resolve that in the order. There's a nice line that basically just tells you the order that you resolve that in.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom,
Just
boom.
follow it and you'll be good. Yep.
Follow it when you're good. What we did was we paired up and we resolved them 2 at a time. So one person watched the other person resolve it just so that everything was cool. Then when you're done, you're going to check to see if you met any of the objectives or the achievements. And if you met any of the achievements, you either, if it's a minor one, you place it down here. It's going to improve your production action. And if it's a major one, you're going to hang it out in front of your castle for all to see that you have achieved it. And those are worth points at the end of the game. Then there's a really interesting thing in this game that I find really fascinating, and that's
Dan found it fascinating.
there's
too.
a bank track. Essentially, at any point in time, you can borrow whatever amount of money, well, up to 10, that you need, and then you can convert that money to resources or to pay for things in the chest during the deal phase. Then there's going to be an interest phase. You got this little spot on the side of your player board, and you're going to move your cube around in these 4 squares going around, and every time you go all the way around, you increase your debt by 1 because you're being charged interest. If you hit the 10 spot, some of your bad debt is forgiven. You drop back down to 9, but you do gain some devil wings, which have negative effects on you. And so you're going to gain every time you hit 10 or go past 10, you're going to gain another set of devil wings. So it can happen multiple times in a round.
That's not really a huge. I mean, I know we spent a lot of time on it, but that's just a small part of like the economic part of it. It's not It's not like the main mechanic of the game.
No, but I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like an interesting thing kind of thrown in there, and it doesn't like take up an obscene amount of time or anything like that. Then you'll do the reputation track. So there's a reputation track over there based on actions you've taken either during events or even building buildings can give you positive or negative reputation. But in the reputation track, you can the person with the highest reputation is going to gain angel wings, and those are good. Person with the lowest reputation is going to gain devil wings. Those are bad. Then everybody kind of slides a little bit back towards the middle based on some arrows that are on the side there, and it tells you every round. It's very easy to understand. During rounds 2 and 3, there's a witch hunt at the end, so that would be like technically the 7th thing you would do during a phase. During a witch hunt, and I don't really understand the purpose of the witch hunt, but we'll get into it. You've got these rings of the other player's colors.
And it's the green one.
Oh, here, take the yellow one.
It's just invisible.
It's invisible. Bob, there's a hole in your hand. Those rings. Everybody's gonna have a ring in their hand. You're gonna hold it out, or you could choose not to vote. Everybody reveals at the same time. If somebody gets 2 votes or multiple people get 2 votes, they are accused, and I believe they take like a hit to their reputation. And they get a mob thing put in front of them, which means they can't be accused again the next round.
I feel like this part of the game could have not been there, and it would have been just as fun.
Just as fun,
yeah.
right?
Just as fun.
I guess the other part of the witch hunt is if you were accused. This did happen to me. If you were accused and you were not a cultist, you could, to absolve yourself, reveal 3 pieces of soul. Technically, the devil could also do this if they have acquired, or the cultist if they have acquired extra soul. So I revealed 3 pieces of soul to say, hey, I'm not a bad guy. Nobody believed me, but I got angel wings for doing it because I succeeded in that. If it was rounds 3 or 5, there'd be an Inquisition phase. The Inquisitors, there's usually only one Inquisitor that will come out first, and he basically demands goods, or you're going to lose victory points. Or if you can reveal 1 piece of soul, he goes away. You need 1 piece of soul for each Inquisitor that shows up, or an indulgence. So, I mean, that's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah,
also,
that made sense.
During the Inquisition phase, a
lot of minutia in there.
The devil is. I know we're
sure.
just flying. We're just flying
hey,
over
that's
these.
the
But also in
Broad
the
strokes.
Inquisition phase, there is a ritual. So the devil's all the chests are going to be put back in the center. The devil is going to put all the souls that they want, that they have, in the middle. They're going to gain cumulative bonuses for having those.
souls.
Same thing for the cultist. The cultist, if the devil has some of the cultist soul, he is going to get bonuses for the devil for having sold more of his soul to the devil.
But at the end of the day, I mean, that was a lot. I mean, and this is such a unique game, right? Like, this is a tableau building resource management game with a little bit of hidden identity just to, like, I feel like, you know, that South Park episode that's making fun of Family Guy, the seal, like, just kind of bobs up 3 balls, and like whatever the 3 balls say, that's what the Family Guy episode is about.
Sure.
I feel like Czech games just took 3, you know, like hidden identity, tableau, and they just they turned it into this
game.
Right?
So anyways, so that's really basically how the game plays. Like, let's go on to components real fast.
Sure.
Okay, so components, I think are pretty good. I like the way you've got your little player castles. There's a floor built up in there, and then there's a roof that you put on, which has all your scoring stuff in there, and then tells you the conversion cost for different things. It also blocks your actions while you're planning your action phase. And then, you know, obviously when you're doing your actions, you reveal it. And I feel like it did a pretty good job of like concealing what my resources was. I had Bob sitting right next to me. I mean, we were like, Dan was sitting like right over here. So he was pretty safe from everybody. But I felt like everybody had a reasonable amount of privacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
The chits are chits. I will say the negative, Bob, is you can't replace these with metal coins.
No, because they're not going to fit inside the
because you've got to be able to have them fit inside the chest.
Want.
I do like the artwork on the cards.
Sure, it's fine.
I mean, it feels on theme. It feels like that Orleans style,
Yeah.
you know,
Ye
like
old.
that medieval religious
Chateau.
sort of art.
Give me that old time religion.
The board is interesting. I think the tracks and your personal player areas all make sense.
The chests, to me, the chests are the coolest parts,
Yeah.
right? Because like they open up, they're multi-layered. You put your bits or whatever you want to put in there. This guy pops out, so you can adjust how much you're
price.
asking for. And then you seal it up, and the QR codes on the bottom should just kind of scan them and pass them out randomly and keep track of where they go. I think that was
It is so
done
fun
really
to
well.
open up those chests
Yeah.
too.
See what
It is
deals are being
so
made. Like,
fun.
man, 2 pieces of soul, but there's a lot of stuff inside there. That's that
Yeah.
last one that
Yeah.
Dan made that offer, and I was like,
Yep.
okay, fine.
Oh, you did?
I did. There's so much he had packed in there, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, that's the last 2
I
pieces
had
of my soul.
I had
but-
like 7 or 8 resources in there.
yeah, there's a lot.
I want to give credit where credit's due. I think they're far more than okay. The components of this game are incredible to me. It has standouts, and I guess maybe you don't want to just give it a high rating because of standouts for sure. But this is one of the best shields I've ever played with.
It looks really
It's a
cool.
fantastic shield. It doesn't just look cool, right? Which it does.
Yeah.
It is extremely useful.
Effective.
Yeah.
I mean, the top comes off because during this phase, you literally reveal everything and go through the actions you chose. Your things hang out here once you have them, so people know which ones you've
You've already got.
accomplished.
Yep.
Your action selection is hidden, hidden here as you take it and then revealed. Everything is held here in, I want to say dual layer, but it's a hole. Everything's held in a hole here until it's actually taken out and put on the board. The chest is incredible, like you said. Obviously, the card quality is good. The board quality is good. The fact that they know as designers which round, like what all is going to need to fit in the chest during each round, so they know that these can fit in the same amount as with the gold that you're going to need, because those need to go in there at the same time, but also how much resources you can put in there and the cost that you can go up to, right? That much gold can fit in there, right? And like having to make that space correctly shaped and sized so that every different round where different things are going to be put in there, everything fits up to the cost that you can do is just so clever to me. This system is just super clever to me.
But
the
pops
whole
out.
Sorry, this is because you guess during the witch hunt the colors, right? But then also during certain times you can guess who the devil is, and this just goes in here. Like that is such a cool little thing. I almost have no complaints on components. This is,
I don't have any complaints other than
so
that
good.
that you couldn't use metal coins, and that's a
I
nitpick.
guess, yeah,
that's
and that
a
just doesn't
nitpick.
matter to me. Not only do I just not do that usually, I'd like to, but it's just expensive. But also just the way the coins are used in this game is you just throw them in the chest and then you
Yeah, who
trade them
cares?
around. So
Right.
I just don't care. Oh, and then the request cards. Such a cool little idea. It's barely used. So I was making fun of the...
no,
the-
barely
I requested
honored.
wood every single time, and you guys never gave it to me. So
barely
they're
honored.
garbage.
It was used every time,
Right.
but barely honored.
The checkmark card, I was making fun of the whole game because I just never used it. But again, just I think so much thought was put into everything that went in this game, and so I just want to give really big props to
we
the
needed to
component
check.
people.
Everybody needed to be able to put their check marks out so we could see that we were still waiting for Bob
Oh,
to decide what he wanted.
And
to do.
another
That was
thing
only
with
in like
the,
2 of the 5 rounds.
another
maybe
thing with
3
these
or 4.
boards is, so yeah, you put them up, and then if you want to tell people like, hey, I'm done, you put that there. Or if you want to tell people what resource you need, you just
that's
place
what
it
we
on the
were doing.
top of your
Yeah, I just wanted to shout it out during my little section here because honestly, it's probably my biggest positive for the game is the components. I think are fantastic, better than good.
I said they were pretty good.
Which is
I'm not
better than
insulting you.
good. Pretty
This
good.
is my turn to talk, and I said it.
Sure.
Fine.
Yeah, and I did like the way the event cards worked because
Yeah.
you have the positive
Choose
and the
one side
negative,
or the
and then
other.
you slide it over,
Depending, it resolves at a certain time.
and the
depending on-
arrow, right? And I thought that was really clever.
Yeah.
I
This isn't a
appreciated that.
component thing, but I just wish I never got like a ooh from any event card though. They're always just like nice little bonuses that like you
Yeah,
know.
they weren't.
I like the
Yeah.
little,
Strong.
I like
don't
the
know.
little stories on them.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stories
Sure.
are neat, and like I got to go up on that track quite a bit.
Yeah. There's a game expo. Listen here. Oh, a large exhibition of board games about to take place in our kingdom. What should we do? Create a controversial game that displays the devil on the box, sell it at the expo for a lot of money, or open a refreshment stand with free food for everyone.
Nah.
That's
funny.
I kind of want free food.
Oh,
Yeah, sounds good.
and fantastic player aids.
Yeah, player aids are really good.
Yep.
Walk you through. The rule book is really straightforward. There's a lot there, but it all goes in order.
Yeah, I was scrolling through the PDF and it seemed fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that it was like exceptional, but it wasn't bad.
And
a
per,
little
per
tall.
usual. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it.
I was just gonna say the Czech Games rule makers are hilarious.
Yeah, I love the
Have you ever
jokes.
played a
Tongue in
just
cheek.
tongue in cheek? Nothing,
was
nothing
that
like
one I read for
intentionally a
Dan?
joke, but
Yeah, it said something at some point of the
This is
devil.
bad.
If you get
yeah.
too many, that's bad.
Yeah. It said you. Oh,
In
it was talking about
parentheses.
this track, and it said you can go all the way down in one turn and gain 3 demon wins because of this. This would be very bad. Like, just very
so
funny.
Czech
the way
rule
they-
maker or
Yeah.
rule
Things.
reviser,
Rule
very
writer.
funny. Keep it up.
and just empty box, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but this was the store demo version, so
Oh.
I don't know if that affects.
My apologies.
No, I'm
Go
pretty sure it's
well.
the same.
Okay.
That's a standard. I mean,
Did like
a lot of-
Arnak come with like that and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
with
Okay.
nothing in it, and then same with Alchemist, nothing in
Okay,
it.
sure.
What was the other one on the front? The Story of Civilization, nothing in it.
Okay.
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 Standard
Well,
edition.
I guess is that more or less insulting than what Fantasy Flight does, where they give you
In
a
Fantasy
well?
Flight,
that
you
doesn't
have
Less
to
work?
throw it
insulting.
away.
Yeah, that actually gives you garbage. You know,
Yeah.
this one at least, you know what? You don't need the garbage. Just put what you want here to make it fit how you want it to fit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd
Fair
rather
enough.
that than have to throw something away.
Okay. Anything else on components before we
I agree with
cut
that.
into
did it come
final
with
thoughts?
the-
Yeah. Yep.
The boxes.
Well, they're
I
checked,
added
yeah.
nothing. They
Okay,
did
good.
these.
Yeah, so it comes with little like
Yeah,
component
they say
trays.
CGE on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought
Right.
maybe it did. So that's handy. I appreciate that.
Yep. Okay.
Very well done.
So
Final thoughts.
Shoot.
Final
Yeah,
thoughts.
Bobby.
Yes. So
A lot to unpack.
yeah. I gotta say, I didn't really enjoy it. Okay, one thing I don't really care for: exactly 4 players. That's one of my biggest
I
critiques
thought
on
that was-
Catan is it's 3 or 4 players. This one you don't even have the 3 option. It's 4 players, and it says in the box exactly 4 players. Huge knock for me because nailing that player count sometimes can be extremely difficult. You know, you're emailing or messaging, however you guys
Writing
send
letters.
us, dictation or whatever.
Dear CGE.
Yeah. But you're trying to invite people over. Sometimes you might, try to overshoot in case someone cancels. But then, oh, 5th player showed up. We're not playing this. Oh, Dan didn't show up. We're not playing this. So I don't care for that. It just seemed very. I don't know, like Dan was trying to say he was a double, but yet a lot of his ways he scored points were the same way as everybody else. And he didn't gain some bonus points for collecting souls and whatnot, but like not as many as I would anticipate you collecting somebody's soul. You should get a lot more for that, Like,
And he lost points for getting evil things.
yeah, and then like as the devil does evil things, he gets negative points for it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'll talk about it on my turn. I think there's a theme issue here just slightly that I will propose a fix to.
Okay.
Aliens.
Now, like I said, the player aids are really nice because like they do have like the 1, 2, 3, or 4 depending on where you're sitting, and it does tell you the production rounds, like what items you're gonna have for
Yeah.
production, so you can kind of plan ahead for that, and that is helpful, and that would be good in some other games. But like the dealing thing was kind of neat, but then at the end where it's like, oh, you have 6 inquisitors coming after you, and now it's like you have to have souls and indulgences and everything, and even the guys who had a bunch of that stuff still had to pay against inquisitor stuff, and we lost. I got up to like 20 some points, and I lost like 15 of it just because I couldn't pay them back.
That's
I
because
don't
you
know,
sold your dang soul.
Let's calm down, okay?
All 3 pieces of it.
I got a lot for it though.
Yum, yum.
Came in 3rd place.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd play it again. I mean, I might play it again, but it's definitely one that I don't think I need to own.
Sure.
As long as every 4th person I know owns a copy, I'm okay. So
Fair enough. Dan, I feel like you got a lot to say, man. Why don't you?
I just don't. There's so much
Uncork.
to unpack here. This is such a weird feeling game. Like I like I'll just come out straight. Obviously, I'm the devil, right? We've talked about this. I was the obviously.
Look at the shirt.
But yeah, it was unfair. Very unfortunate shirt choice. No, but I didn't. I still don't understand how I was supposed to play the devil. Like I'm doing all this stuff, and like for the first like very large portion of the game, like I want to say I made a good almost 3/4 of the way through the game without people even pointing fingers at me. But now I'm like, is that good?
I think it matters.
Right, like, because if I get accused early, then they have to pay more every turn. So do I just come out and do that? And then also them knowing I'm the devil means they know who's requesting the resources for their soul, and that can change how deals work as well. Because like they said, my point scoring just didn't make sense to me. Like, at the end of the game, I got negative points for demon wings. I create those.
Yeah.
Like I should get negative points for angel wings and
Right.
positive for demon wings. Like that's just so weird to me. And I almost feel like
Almost like a secret winning condition
Yeah.
for
I mean, and
one roll.
we went through like final scoring. Like there's nothing
Right.
special for
There-
the devil except they get less points for achievements.
There
which-
is a frequently asked
Yeah, 'cause you don't
questions
even
in
get to
the
score your
back. I
major
wonder if
achievements that
there's
you
like
would
a
get.
question
yeah,
about like
and these achievements I'm working towards, which give me bonuses throughout
Throughout
the
the
game.
game,
That's nice.
sure,
But
but-
I don't get anything for it. So again, should I just come out early and not worry about working on those and like not
Yeah.
try to blend in?
And why would you try to build anything?
Yeah,
I don't
why
understand
build all
why
this stuff?
you basically just build this resource engine that you could try to sell people
Right,
these
exactly.
resources for their souls.
And maybe that's a smart choice. But again, by
Maybe.
doing that, you're gonna out yourself. Oh, Dan's not building
Dan
anything.
hasn't built a single thing, but he
and
has
yet
all these
takes
resources.
every turn.
What's going
yeah,
on?
so I just don't understand. I almost feel like what I was gonna kind of say, and I thought about it while you were still talking, and part of it still collapses slightly, but like I almost feel like they just went too far by making the one player the devil. And like if I was just like if I was the cultist and I'm trying to collect all this, misinformation, all this bad stuff, and
Yeah.
maybe you're like the king, and so you can have some mistrust and stuff, and you're passing it around, and then there's the normal people, but like saying that I'm the devil, but then like I still get
Penalize
hit
you
by all
for
this
being
stuff
evil.
for being the devil. That is weird to me. Like again, if I was like a cultist, and it's like, well, yeah, that's literally how it works. The cultists are praising the demons, and the demons aren't giving the cultists anything
Yeah.
in return, right? Your life still sucks. So at least that would then make sense.
Yeah, but deal with the demon doesn't make
Yeah,
it has the
that's
same
true.
ring to it.
Well,
yeah.
no, but we're all still dealing with the devil. It's just
Right.
that I'm not
Not
the
an actual
devil.
through
player.
an intermediary.
Right.
Which is you.
Like, because I even, as the devil player, turn 1, I took max debt. I took 10, which means that I started the game with 18 money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So that I can just start passing that out. And it was okay at working. At one point, someone turned me down a soul for like a bunch of stuff, and I was like, okay, weirdo.
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I was
very
like, I'm holding
weird.
on to my soul.
I was
I'm
like,
just
ooh, I'm in.
I guess it's just that if everyone does that, the devil player doesn't play. So it's
Right.
just weird.
well,
Like,
I wouldn't say
especially
that
because-
everyone does that, but
I'm saying if everyone does that,
sure.
the devil player
Sure.
doesn't play.
I made a choice that I was going to
the
try to
devil
hold
player
on to
doesn't
all of my
get-
soul.
I mean, how many chances does the devil get to try to get souls? It's not very many. So like even
5.
one round where no one gives him any souls. Okay, well that sets me back how many points, how much effort that I put in to try and do that. I mean, at the same time, then I'm left with a bunch of resources because no one traded with me, so I can build a bunch of stuff, but building me doesn't get me as much as everyone else. So I'm literally trying to say I play a lot of games, and I feel like I'm pretty good at understanding things. I'm really good at like, okay, I see what this is supposed to do, even if I don't like it. I genuinely still don't understand what I was supposed to do.
I don't know how you were supposed to play. I really don't.
Well, as a specific role.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody played kind of the same game. Like I accidentally outed myself as the cultist,
Right.
and I was like, well, something is going to change, and nothing,
Nothing really
really
changed.
Nothing's
changed. Now, fortunately, like 20 minutes later, part of the game mechanics exposed me as
Correct.
that
Cultist
specific
anyway.
So it
role.
wasn't a huge loss.
So it wasn't a huge loss.
And shortly after, you did get a reward for your soul thing. So
Yeah.
at least then that happened. But
There
yeah.
should be some form of, and I'm sorry, I'm talking during your turn, but like once, like there should be like, okay, I know, kind of like Secret Hitler or something like that. Like I know that you're a certain role, I'm a certain role, and then like if we can successfully get it past you two and I can get you this resource, then it like helps us when we reveal our identities or
Oh,
something
sure.
like that.
Yeah, no, the cultist gets nothing other for
I did start
Dealing
with
with
extra
the devil.
He
resources.
starts with extra resource and round 3.
no, but I
he
mean,
gets rewards.
other than like, so he is motivated to sell his extra piece of soul because his soul is
Right.
corrupted and it's negative points at the end of the game. So he is motivated to try to sell his soul like basically as fast as he can
Right.
to you, right, or the devil. But other than that, again, there's no end game bonus
Yeah.
to being the cultist or the devil, which I feel like there should be.
Yeah.
I know we're stepping on what your final thoughts
No,
were. but
I want all this talked about. 'cause
I'm just building on your.
I just want them to understand. Like, I genuinely, as far as how asymmetric the roles feel and stuff, I just feel like it. I don't know. It almost feels tacked on. It's just like, oh well, you're the devil, and like you want souls. Okay, cool. What does that get me? Well, you can kind of pay Inquisitors off with it. Okay, but if I'm good, then I can get into a situation where I don't need to pay off Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just don't understand.
No, I feel like the devil and the cultist need to be rewarded more for being the devil and the cultist.
Asymmetrically.
Yes.
as well.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, see, there's the one scoring thing at the end that Dan gets for points for
Right.
souls.
Yeah, but I
that's
think
more.
I don't think that's enough
Yes.
because of
because of all the other negatives and non-scoring
'cause
things
the-
you get.
Correct. And I also
Right,
think
that's a max of 12 points.
and I also think that the devil should have different ways to score points than the mortals did, which were us. I feel like
If
the
he's
most
powerful,
obvious
right?
thing is the devil wings
Right.
should be positives and the angel wings should be
it's like,
negative.
It's like, hey, why is this guy collecting a lot of these wings? He must be
Right.
He must be the devil. Exactly.
Well, yeah, and for the first half of the game, I was collecting a lot of demon wings, not because I thought they were gonna not be poisoned or whatever, but just because of the thing I was doing was collecting a lot of that. But it's just like there's no point. I wanted to point out too. This was the other thing because I just looked at this and remembered. So the more souls I have as the devil at the end of the game, the more Inquisitors come out.
Yeah.
I, as the devil, also have to pay those Inquisitors.
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they went. They went
Because
step
we
by
had like
step.
3, and they're like, oh wait, you had that many souls? Flip 3 more guys over there. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't pay for all those
But
guys.
the more he collects, the more he's immune from those. So,
Correct.
So
Yeah,
Well, okay,
true.
hold on. Now we're kind of answering our own question. Like,
That
what
is-
is the
yes,
purpose?
that is a
It
case.
is your job to.
You're making it
entice-
harder on everybody else.
You want to
Correct.
entice people because by the time that those big boys come out at the end of the game, you've successfully, over the course of 5 very long rounds,
Correct.
you have hoarded enough that when these Inquisitors come by,
You can give them each a
you
piece of
are
soul.
just draining everybody's victory points except your own because you have annulled your.
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
And that would be better if, and you know, and I did do some of that, but it would be better if, again, the demon wings didn't hurt the demon.
Right,
Because
sure.
by getting demon wings as the devil, I'm collecting house guests as the devil and having to pay off those house guests with my souls as
Others.
the devil. And then if I have to pay these guys off, I can't pay these guys off. I don't know.
Well,
I just
you
feel like
didn't-
at the end the devil should be like, I'm the devil, get out of here.
But you didn't incur those house guests, which are negative victory points, because you were the devil. You incurred those house guests because you took on the maximum loan that you could, and then you kind of found yourself in a
Right, which I
in
did
a
on purpose,
swirling-
and
yeah.
that's fine.
That part, yeah,
But
but
the
then, like, also
problem
being
is
low on the
the
track.
punishment for debt. What I'm saying is just
Yeah.
demon wings, which affect the devil the same as everyone else. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that is my massive problem with the game is I just don't understand how that stuff works. But we didn't really mention. I mean, the rondelle's cool. You know, there's a nice little rondelle in the center that has the turn selection. The player aid tells you get a certain player aid depending on which side you're randomly seated on a position at the beginning, and it lets you know, hey, on each of these rounds, this is what you're going to be getting. So plan ahead for that. That's super cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I really like these little guys. I don't know what they're called.
Artisans?
No.
Starts with a C, right?
they're just symbol boosters.
Courtesans?
Courtiers.
But anyway,
Courtiers.
they count
Courtiers.
as the set collection, and then they go away, and there's a wild in there too. That's cool. I was taking advantage of that a lot. But yeah, honestly, I really want to play the game again, unlike Bob, because I want to understand games.
Wow, that's geez. Threw a dagger at you there.
No, I'm saying because I want to understand this game, I want to play it again.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure that makes me like love the game by saying that, you know.
2+ hour game I'd rather do just about anything.
Sure. But yes, I find a lot of the stuff interesting here. It's just that all the interesting stuff comes together in a puzzle that like it looks like it's like an abstract. And I'm like, was this a puzzle? Because it just kind of looks like an abstract mess. And so I'm not sure if it was supposed to be a coherent puzzle. Like, is it supposed to look like the Eiffel Tower? Because it
Maybe
kind
if
of
we
just
look
looks
at it,
like
let
a
our eyes
blob.
go out of focus.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm done.
All right, Andrew.
I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Thematically, it is not my jam. I don't like when you overdo it with the
Devil stuff.
devil and the religious and the it's a little that was a little much for me. You can rebrand it. There's so many easy to rebrand ideas. And like you kind of like you said, like, oh, it's the devil. It's the most like extremely evil thing. Oh, why is it getting punished then for having negative things
being
upon
evil.
it? You could easily redo this as a political game. You could redo this as a space thing. You could redo it as a million different things where maybe you could answer some of these like weird thematic quirks. Obviously, you could just add some rules to.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
I think that this is just putting the proverbial pitchfork in the goofy Middle Ages.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, and
the
they
way
also-
that they handled religion and witch hunts and things like
Sure,
that. I mean,
sure.
this is lampooning that specifically.
Sure.
Yes,
And you
could
and you
retheme
named
it.
the game "Deal with the Devil." It's like
Right.
you deal with the devil and it's a space game. Like that doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a play, or it's not a play
It
on
could-
words, but it's a figure of speech.
Faustian bargain, but the Faustians are these aliens that
Yeah.
come down and that are shape changers.
Yeah. So yeah, thematically I wasn't a fan, but everything else I had a great time like building and deciding what to do over here and hiding my resources. Sure, the identity thing was a little bit weird, but at the same time, everything else that I was doing, I was having a really good time. Everything made sense. The player aid was fantastic. All the components were great. Kind of the opposite of you, Bob. I think the fact that it says only four exactly, it's kind of an attractive, like, oh, only
We like-
four
Andrew
people.
likes
like,
a challenge.
It does
Yeah.
make it like a once per year game.
Yeah, like I need 4 people.
Well-
like there's no budging around that. I
And
think
the
it's
problem is 4 people, and it's going to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
but it's
Easy.
we're board game players. 2 hours is
Yeah, drop in a pan doesn't mean anything to me.
yeah. So that's my final thoughts. I thought it was a really fun tableau builder. I love hidden identity games sometimes, and this was
You
one
love
of those
them when you
games.
love them.
So,
Yeah.
so again, just because of what you said on my thing, so coming right back at you, almost my entire speech was negative, but I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
I enjoy most of the experience here. I just, while I'm doing experience, I don't understand how it's affecting me.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so anyway.
No, so I have lots of mixed feelings about this. Unlike Andrew, I enjoy the theme. I like themes that kind of push the envelope a little bit.
Sure.
I think, it's like comedy. I like things that kind of, let's just push some boundaries a little bit. And this does it in a very safe,
Sure.
Sure.
way.
It's not
I
too
get
crazy.
it. Also, if you tend to be religious,
gotcha.
it may not be a thing, that you want to mess with 100%. That's fine. I totally get it. And yes, you are right. It could have a different theme.
Sure.
They went like, all in,
BD.
feet first
Yeah.
on this theme. I struggle. I had a good time playing the game. Like everything we were doing, I thought was interesting. I love this aspect of it, the way you're making deals and you're doing things. I enjoy the production and the way you can increase your production, and then the crunchiness of like planning your actions. Like, well, if I do this, and then it's going to let me do this, and then later on, like on my turn, now I'm going to have the resources to pay for this. And so it requires some really good planning and really interesting choices. I just was disappointed, I guess, along with Dan or for Dan, that the devil didn't
Get his due.
didn't score differently. And I saw that when I read the rules, and I'm like, well, that's weird. I just wonder how that's going to
Yeah,
shake
let's see how
out.
it plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how it shakes out. And like when I read it in the rule book, and I found it unsatisfying. I don't know. I think maybe they play tested this where the devil tanks for devil wings and gets too many points, and it's a runaway thing.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like the witch hunt part is either rewarding or punishing enough. If you vote for somebody to be a witch and they're not, sure, I got angel wings once. Who cares? No big deal.
Yeah.
It seemed irrelevant. The witch hunt seemed pretty irrelevant.
Right. If you hit somebody and they lose a reputation or whatever, also kind of irrelevant. Or they get devil wings. Unless you're the devil and they don't score you points, it's terrible. But that seemed really irrelevant to me.
Yeah. Phase 7, just get rid of it.
Right. The Inquisition phase was really interesting. Again, it felt also really fiddly. And this is already a fiddly game. So working through the Inquisition phase, and again, I feel like in round 3, because it happens in round 3 and 5. 5 is the last round. In round 3, the devil's still playing nice because he doesn't want to be known as the devil. I feel like in round 5, the devil should get to tell all the Inquisitors to go kick rocks. Because he's the devil.
Yeah.
And everybody knows
Who the devil is.
during the Inquisition phase of round 5, because we all open up our chests
In front of you.
everybody, you know that's the devil. The devil clearly no longer cares.
Yeah.
So it just thematically doesn't make any sense to me that
Why does he care to appease his
It
Inquisitors?
almost seems like once he's outed, even if it's before round 5, if people guess the devil and he's outed, at that point he doesn't have to pay anymore. But now everyone knows they can literally see his point total, see how many, know how many souls he has,
Right.
and be like, I'm not. It's not worth trading for him. It's like, then it becomes an actual how many victory points am I willing to give the devil?
Can
to
I
get what
can I
want?
math this?
Yeah.
Can I math this
and
right
that,
and sell?
that mind game is more interesting.
Or
to
like
me.
however
would be
many
more interesting
people
game to
vote
me.
for him, that's how many he loses before facing the Inquisitors
sure.
or something.
I just feel like that's a fix,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that would fix my main problem with this game, because again, I found all the actions really interesting. I found the decisions very interesting. Like Dan said, the components are great. I enjoy the components, and the fact that the components all matter and make sense to the game. The components don't feel slapped on or, whatever. Like everything is very useful.
Purposeful.
Yeah, very purposeful. So I don't know, like I'm kind of like Dan, like I want to play this again so I can kind of understand it, but I also like when I play it again, I kind of want to see like if our fix at the end makes it a better experience.
Well, and here's a question for you, Tim, really quick. Because this is always kind of telling to me, just answer totally honestly, right? You won.
No.
He won.
Oh, Andrew won.
I'm in
Andrew
the show
won.
today.
well, then
guys.
never
I won.
mind. Because
Yeah.
I was going to say, did it even feel fulfilling? But for you, it did, because you really enjoyed the experience.
And I was going to say something about that because this was a 2+ hour game, and you just said you don't like spending all that time to figure out you scored 8 points.
I scored 0
Negative.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
2 hours for
very
0
big
points.
spread.
And you were like -8.
No,
For
I
a
was
while?
way more than
No,
that.
it was like negative
I was
14.
negative 13, I think,
Yeah.
was the
Okay.
lowest.
Yeah, so that was one thing I was going to bring up. And the other thing, it's like Tim was saying, it's like while all of the components and the bits of this game are super interesting, like the sum of all of its parts,
is a tableau builder.
Yeah.
you know,
I
I
agree.
mean, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated by this puzzle that this game presents
Yeah,
because
sure.
it does a lot of things
It was
that
an experiment.
that I find really interesting, but it also feels deeply flawed.
Yeah.
And I don't,
deep.
and I wonder, did they play test it with rules like we are pitching and saying, oh, I wonder
And
if
then
they
something
should do this?
happened and it broke.
And it was just too broken
Right.
the other way.
The devil
Totally
always
possible.
won.
And
This is possible.
and again, unfortunately, right, this is a game where you almost need to play it a bunch of times
Yeah.
to see does the cultist always win? Do the mortals always, was
Well-
this a fluke where the cultist won?
That's going to be on BGG pretty soon. People are
Sure.
going to be racking up those stats and seeing what's
Sure.
going on.
So it will be very interesting to see how those shake out, through other people's game groups and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had. I came in the middle, and again, I had 17 points. So Andrew had 32 at the
Something
end.
like that.
Bob was at 8.
Yep.
And then Dan was -1.
I think I was at 0
Oh,
exactly.
0,
I think
exactly.
I got
Okay.
some at
We'll
the
give
end
him
that
a
gave me a
point,
point. But yeah,
So
who cares?
30-point difference or 32-point difference from first to last, and it was kind of like
On a 32-point scale.
right. But it's weird though because it's like halfway down there was me, and then half of my score was Bob, and then half of
Yeah. And the rest of the way.
It's also interesting that only after one play, so this is not a statistic in any way, but it does go assassin, human, devil.
cultist.
Something.
Assassin. He's going to get it right as soon as this review is over.
Who was the cultist again?
Because it has a dagger on it for the cultist.
Yeah.
It's the same symbol as the assassin in Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Okay. So, anyways, guys, those final thoughts.
Yep.
We're gonna now go into the final rating.
So we're going to rate this game on a scale of 0 to 10. We do use 0.5s for variability, and we're each going to give our own opinion because some people agree with others more based on our points and our personalities. And then we're going to average them all at the end to have one score so that we can put on BGG, Discord,
Hate it
stuff
or
like
love
that.
it.
The board game rundown, like umbrella score. So Tim, who are you going to throw it at?
I'm gonna throw it to Bob. I'm gonna go in order of final thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. I would play it again, but like I said, as long as every fourth person, has it, you don't really need to buy it. 5.5.
Daniel.
I tend to agree. I obviously won't be buying this. Not because I dislike it. I just I have a limited budget. This one won't fit into it. And I almost completely agree. Very interesting pieces that go into a puzzle that didn't make sense when I looked at it, and I was wondering if my eyes were just blurry. So I'm looking forward to playing it again. My score might go up if I play it more, but I'm landing on a 5.5.
Andrew.
Yeah. I agree with what you guys said. I had fun playing it, but at the same time, like it really is it's a Tableau builder with a bunch of smoke and mirrors, and a couple of those just didn't make sense. Like they should have called Leader Games and said, hey, we want to create some asymmetric end abilities with these different roles, and you guys are the masters of that. Yeah, I feel like there were some problems here. But I had fun with the Tableau building. Like I completed all 4 of these and I stuck to that, and I just I had a good time with it. But I do agree with you guys, so I'm gonna go with a 6.5.
Nice.
Yeah, Andrew has the correct score. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Sure.
I had
Andrew
questions.
I like
I have
that.
a lot of questions about it still. My score, if we continue to have the same problems with like multiple plays, I think my score would go down because it's like, okay,
Yeah, it could definitely go up.
Right.
From where I
This,
put
is,
it,
this
but-
is our first impression.
but it could go, it could go up. But 6.5, I'll sleep good at tonight knowing that.
All right. So if we took all of our scores and we average them together, it's a 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
The devil's a little lukewarm.
I was excited about this game, and again, I found the ending kind of unsatisfying.
Yep.
And a little bit disappointing. But I thought all the components were amazing, and I like the things that it's trying to do. In
Right.
theory, I like this game.
Correct.
In theory. Anything else to add before we sign off?
No,
think so.
I've always just said I 7 is a recommend from me, and in no world would I recommend this game, not because it's bad again, but because I don't understand it. So
Yeah.
how could I tell someone you should play this game I don't understand?
Right.
So it was around a 6, and I don't know. That experience just dropped it from a 6 to a 5.5. It was on the edge for me.
I think everybody's scores are totally fair and make total sense.
Sure.
I don't disagree. Like Andrew said, I don't disagree with anything anybody said.
Yeah.
It's just it hit us all in a
It is
little
where
bit.
it's at.
Yeah.
Slight. Well,
No, we
in two
get
different
it.
ways.
No, we get
They
it.
tried to do
the
it- they
people
tried
in
to do a lot of
first and
things.
second rated it higher. I get it.
Dan, your theory is strong.
Checks out.
Okay, guys. For the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
That was Bob.
Dan.
Andrew
Dan's a devil. We'll see you next time.
at 0 points.
Shut up.